Hey, Mike Callen here with a quick video. Wanted to kind of expand on a book I've been reading here, This Won't Scale by the marketing team of Drift. And the premises of one of the things to scale a business quickly was to let go of your Legos and basically let the other kids play, or basically your other teammates. And I'm going to take a couple snippets out of the book in this video, but a very, very interesting perspective. And all of us in business want to scale and grow a business extremely fast. So starting out my lawn care company, we had some obviously pretty slow growth going through high school and college. We had a couple crews. And then when we learned how to market, the business scaled exponentially quick. And the issue is when we grew fast, I didn't know how to let go. Now in perspective, my other business, Simple Growth, we're hitting some of the growth hurdles that we hit at Callahan's Lawn Care every 3 to 5 years. I'm hitting them every 3 to 5 months. So I'm going out and buying an education and kind of basically letting down my guard, and basically learning from the mistakes I made in the past and then how we overcame them, but getting some outside industry perspective of how other companies scale extremely quick and how for the business owner to get out of their own way to allow this to happen. And it's pretty interesting here. So I'm going to actually pull a couple things out of this book here. But basically, the idea is what is needed for fast growth in the owner's mindset and the team's mindset as we grow. Because as we grow exponentially, the position you have today is probably not the position you should have in 3 to 6 months from now. So out of the book here, and I'll show you the book in a few minutes, but basically, at any given moment, you need to be ready to let go of your Legos and let the other kids play, basically your teammates. So basically, the fast growth must be driven from inside the company. And in reality, that means every employee must be ready to take on new responsibilities and let go of the old ones. So one of the biggest things, at least I find as a business owner, is I'm hesitant to let go of what I'm doing now because I think it's instrumental to the success of the business. But in reality, the business owner really needs to be the visionary and set the path. And if they're doing the sales role or the onboarding role or the training role or out in the field still, that is something you need psychologically to be able to disconnect from and be able to let that go. So the challenge that I'm putting forward today as we grow to scale our service business is everybody on our team that's a key player should psychologically be ready to give up what they're doing now in the short term to go in and evolve into that next role. Very interesting take. It's a very quick read. This Won't Scale. It's by the Drift marketing team. If you're going to be in Savannah, Georgia next week, I'm going to be hanging out with Debbie Sardone the day before QDS, Martha Woodward's event, and talking about conversational marketing. And Drift is conversational marketing among some other things that we're doing in Facebook marketing. And we're talking about the bleeding edge shift in buying habits. And with the technology right now, businesses are scaling quickly, and this really talks about how to adapt to that shift. But basically, hyper growth or extreme growth needs to be driven with inside the company, and the reality means that every employee must be ready to take on new responsibilities and let go of the existing ones or the old ones. So this is a tough play for most people to grasp, and I myself, not on a pedestal here preaching by any means. I've struggled with this in the past, and it's something in Simple Growth that I've learned that I've had to take that mindset in. And basically, in a fast-growing company, you can't afford to get territorial over your job. From day one, you need to accept that every single goal, task, and output will be someone else's responsibility soon. So the sooner as business owners we're able to accept that what we're doing now is not going to be ours forever, and we're able to document the system and create a system that can be trained and replicated throughout the organization, the further ahead we are. So my challenge and talk today is get in the mindset that your job and your position in your business as the business owner manager is not one for the long term. It's short term. You need to delegate that off so you continue to support and push the mission and vision of that company and drive culture from the top down in. And in order to do that, we need to document and systematize each process you do in order to be able to hand it off in the near future. So as the book says, let your Legos go and let the other kids play. So the other kids meaning the other team members. you also have to come to the realization, at least in my opinion, that there's other team members on your team that are going to be able to do the job that you're doing just as well, if not better. And one of the realizations that I recently had in the last week or so, not even probably the last day or two, is we've got a new gentleman on the Simple Growth team, Dylan. And he was actually one of our first automation clients. And Dylan was able to take the onboarding process with a call or two with some training, but he had just as good insight, if not probably better than my insight. I'm going to say probably better, because he understood as a consumer of Simple Growth what the onboarding process felt like as someone on the other end of the computer. So he had been through the process himself, and he was able to connect some of the dots that I just honestly was not able to connect as clearly. So my mindset had to change and said, you know what, onboarding calls at Simple Growth probably are not the best position for me. I've documented the process system, and Dylan as another team member came in and helped me build upon that to make it better. So I got to let go of my Legos. So good chance if you're doing an onboarding call with Simple Growth here within the next week or so, you'll be talking to Dylan instead of me. When letting go of my Legos to let the other kids play, I realize it might be advantageous to make a video. But real quick read, This Won't Scale. It's by Drift, by the Drift team. Pretty good book and pretty insightful how to scale a business with hypergrowth. And hypergrowth is pretty tough in a service industry. But if you get marketing right and you're ready to adopt to things like conversational marketing and like automated bots or Facebook bots, the different things that are happening right now as that shift, as well as automations. With automations and conversational marketing, the whole game is shifting right now. It's going to cause exponential growth. So instead of just going up a little bit, we're going to see that spike right up, kind of like the hockey stick. So as the companies that are early adopters, bleeding edge of automations and technology, get ready for that hyper growth, because that's exactly what we saw in my company 6 or 7 years ago when we were the early adopter to automations before it was a thing in the service industry. And we literally grew so fast, we almost went out of business. And the mistake that I made there is I was not ready to initially give up my role as quickly. And if we're willing to do that and that psychological mind shift, we're able to grow even quicker. And that leadership or visionary role of the business owner is going to continue to evolve. And if that's not your place in the business, that's okay if you can recognize it. But if you recognize it, then I would highly suggest putting that visionary or that individual in place that can drive culture and organization and help you hire, fire, and train to the mission and vision and values and build that core leadership team. But the idea of the video is come to the acceptance that your position and multiple positions underneath you will not remain in the same position. It's going to change as the business scales. So comments or questions, let them go. I know it was very interesting. Let go of your Legos and let the other kids play, basically your team members. So you need to know that your position is not there forever. It's temporary. So you need to be able to document it, systematize it, and let somebody else come in who's just as capable, if not probably more capable than you, to run that position as you evolve your corporation and service business exponentially. So I want to say what's up to Jeremy Guevara, another gentleman out there just crushing his business and probably going to be in the same boat as we are. So Jeremy, are you willing to let go of your Legos is the question, and everybody else out there. So if you're watching live, feel free to drop some comments on if you're willing to let go of your Legos and evolve it and come to the realization that the position that you hold in your business probably shouldn't be the position in your business you're going to be holding in 7, 8, maybe 12 months. So whatever you're going into this season, there's probably a good realization that if you're growing the business appropriately, that you shouldn't be in that position in 12 months from now. So comments, questions, drop below, live or recorded. Be watching for the next 24 to 48 hours. And we'll be coming at you again tomorrow with a live edition of Callahan's Corner, asking your questions, where you ask the question and we answer them live on Facebook Live. So got a pretty good pile of questions piled up, and we'll be diving through to answer the most of those this week here on Facebook Live on another edition of Callahan's Corner coming up.